What's up guys, welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be talking about Belial, specifically on how to properly nerf this character. Because I still want him to be good, but he's just way too good as he is right now. This man literally has everything. He has the best fireball in the game. He has a parry, he's got a DP, he's got a command grab, he has AA baits with this. He's got a low 2M that is plus, far 5H, and the whole rabbit hole that goes with that move. Godlike pressure because he can do any move, and the EX fireball for amazing plus frames. He's got mid-screen combos and a 2L that's 5 frames when most characters are 6 frames. Yeah, it's not a low, but it's still 5 frames. So this man literally has everything. He carries more than any other character in this game. Honestly, more than any other game I've played. This man is just so easy to play and he's just so freaking rewarding. His 5H is basically auto neutral. So many plus frames for no reason. This character's got way too much. So I'm going to be going over all the things that should be nerfed about this character. And my goal with these changes are not to destroy the character, just to still keep him good. I'm not taking away any combos. It's just going to be lessened the nonsense that he has, just to make him more fair, but anyone that actually likes the character can still play him and still be effective. So let's talk about the biggest issue that this man has first. His far 5H. His far 5H is a 9 frame auto neutral move. If y'all used to hate random Jita EX Rekkas randomly to get combos, you would hate this move even more, and I hate it too. At least with Jitas, it was on recovery. You couldn't do it endlessly. This man just does far 5H anytime he wants, stuffs pretty much any button, and he gets a full freaking combo. You can just be chilling in neutral around here, you know, poking, and the Belial player's like, dang, let me just do far 5H. Oh, yes, I got hit. Yeah, I got a hit. Oh, I got a full mid-screen combo. Yes, I'm so good. I am good at neutral. That is basically Belial in a nutshell. So this move, it needs some adjustment. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it hits or not. If it hits, oh great, it's a combo. But what if they block it? Oh dang, they blocked it. Oh look, I got plus frames. Okay, they gotta get some meaty, they gotta get a grab. Oh, maybe they're doing an OS. Oh, I'm just gonna shimmy to bait the OS. But you know what? Maybe they'll just sit there. I'm just gonna command grab you. So it's basically free plus frames or free combos whenever he has an EX fireball. It's just too much crap. And that's not all with this move. You know it has 2 hits. So if the second part hits by itself and it's a counter hit, this man gets a full 5H combo. Like, this has no reason to combo into another heavy. That doesn't make any sense. He gets like all this damage off just a random neutral tool. You could be trying to whip punish the first part and you get hit by the second part and you just eat all that damage for no reason. So I don't think he needs this, but I don't want to completely take it away because I don't want to remove any combos. So this is what I'll do instead. Instead of you being able to combo a heavy after this, just make it so you can only combo lights. So at best you can do like a 5L into this. And that's only 1860 damage. Is not that bad. It's not like you eat a full 3K, 4K combo. It's just a little mini combo. So Belial will get rewarded a little bit if you miss space your whiff punish. And if he wanted to, he can still combo this to a super or whatever just to get a little bit extra damage. But the point is just to nerf the damage on that, because this is just kind of BS. Because every time I get hit by this, I feel like I just get completely cheated. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to whiff punish your 5H, or I was pressing a button from like this far away and I get freaking counter hit. So I think just the reduction in the combo potential, at least just only make a combo with a far 5L, I'm cool with that. Now, of course, that's obviously not enough for this button. We gotta do a couple more things. So as far 5H, this move starts up in 9 frames. 9 frame auto neutral. I'm gonna make this start up at the very earliest 11 frames. 11 frames is still unreactable, but it's still a little bit slower, gives you time to stick out a button to interrupt it, and it stops certain things. Because what he's able to do right now, he's able to do 2M on block, be +1, and then do a far 5H afterwards. And since his far 5H comes out in 9 frames and he's already +1, that means it's only an 8 frame gap in between that. And a lot of characters can't stick out any notable buttons to stop them. They can do like far 5L or stuff like that, but that's not really much, and Belial can do other things to counter that. So with this proposed nerf right here, I'm making the far 5H be 11 frames, and that would make the gap 10 frames instead. But I am going to be talking about 2M in a little bit, because that being plus is not really good, but we'll get to that. And making far 5H slower does not reduce any of his combos whatsoever. Because all of his mid-screen combos, usually he does like something like this, 2M EX fireball, far 5H into a grab. For this combo, Belial has enough time to micro run after the EX fireball, because the EX fireball is just that plus. Like if you just look, I did a micro run before I landed the sweep. That means you're more than hella plus enough to get a combo from pretty much any range anyway. Maybe you can't micro run as far when you're doing mid-screen combos with a 5H, but you see that combo, he can use sweep instead, and actually sweep does more damage regardless. And far 5H goes so far anyway, I don't even need to dash to get this combo. So it's not going to reduce any combos, it'll make it slower so it's not such a bust out move, or it just gives you more time just to stick out something to stop it from coming at you, and you'll be the one stuffing Belial instead of Belial being the one that's stuffing your normals because it's so freaking fast. Now I also want to increase the recovery of this move. Like on complete whiff, it's only 10 frames of recovery. And look how fast he recovers, like pretty much as soon as the move finishes, he can immediately just jump away. So that makes it very difficult to whiff punish, especially if you mistime it. The second part hits you and gets a counter hit, and right now it gets a full freaking combo. So already we reduced that to where it'll only be a very minimal combo anyway, so it'll be a lower risk to try to whiff punish him. But the point is, I think it needs to be a little bit more recovery. So I want the recovery to be at least 2 frames higher, maybe up to 15 if you need to. I really don't want this to have good recovery because there's absolutely no reason you should whiff this move. Like, look at this distance. It still hits him from like this far. That's more than half screen you're still hitting your opponent. So you have no reason to be whiffing this move and you should be punished for it. Especially for all the reward it gives you. Because Far 5H gives you a command grab mix-up, plus fireballs with this, the EX fireball plus frame, possible full combos and everything. So if you whiff this, you should be punished. Now also on block, this move is not that minus. It's only -3. That's nothing. Now I'm not saying it should be punishable, but I think it should certainly be more minus to where it's much easier to take back your turn and you have more options that you can do. Because as is, Belial can space it pretty good to where you're actually outside of 2L range or standing light range. So he can space it good. So I want to make it -5, and the only way it could be punishable if it's -5 if you do it like super close and a close 5L can hit you. Which even from this range, Belial does not get a close 5L. So I think making it -5 would be really good. If they space it absolutely horribly, they get punished for it. And in most cases, they won't get punished for it. And it'll be much easier for the opponent to take back their turn. So I got one more change for Far 5H. Now with Far 5H, if he does it into EX Fireball at a range like the one I just did right now, it's not a true block string. Meaning if you're mashing buttons, you'll get hit, so it makes it a frame trap. But if he does it from like really close range like that, that is a true block string. Meaning no matter what you do, you mash super, you mash DP, nothing will come out because in a true block string, your only option is to block once you start blocking the first part. And you know Belial is able to cancel only off the first part of the special move. I basically want the cancel to happen a little bit later. And the goal is to make it so if Belial does Far 5H and EX Fireball, that no matter what range, it will not be a true block string. So what does that do? That makes the Belial getting the random Far 5H and the EX Fireball for free plus frames not really a completely viable option against all characters. And if the character has SBA or whatever, then you simply just cannot do that because you can get supered. Now I think this would be a good nerf because I don't like the idea of a forward advancing move giving you plus frames on a character like this that's a really strong pressure character, has all kinds of mix-ups, throw rates, command grabs, plus frames, and all this nonsense. He does not need that free get in like that. So just make it so you can still cancel off the first hit, but just make it cancel a little bit later just to make the gap. So if you have a DP, you can always DP it. And if characters that don't have a DP, okay, they can do it up until they get SBA or something, and then they have to worry about that gap. And that might lead to actual mind games of Belial's doing different things to try to bait supers or whatever. It would actually add, I don't know, a little bit of depth to the character, because right now the character has no depth whatsoever. He's just, oh, I can do whatever I want and still win. And that is why, after you get past the little pizzazz of the character he has, because he's a pretty cool character, he has cool combos and everything, cool moves, he gets boring pretty quick. Because you really don't have to think too much, you just have to not kill yourself and then just let Belial do all the work for you. So honestly, even while I played Belial, I'd rather he be nerfed. It'd be more fun to play him to where he's more even with everyone else. But anyway, back to the point. So all those things I covered, I think those would be great for the Far 5H. Make it 11 frames. Make the recovery longer, so if you whiff it, you can get whiff punish easier. Make the counter hit only comboable with like light attacks or whatever, not freaking mediums, not heavy, so you don't get the ridiculous combos. make the FAR 5H have no true block string with EX Fireball, and make it more minus, make it -5, so they actually have to space it properly to not get punished, and to have a decent, way to avoid pressure from the opponent. Because if they space it right, you're out of 2L range, so you can kind of back up or whatever, but it's still -5, so still more in the opponent's favor. With those nerfs, I think FAR 5H won't be that bad. Alright, so let's talk about his 2M. Now his 2M is 7 frame startup, which that's fine, but it's +1. Why does he have a low attack that's 1? I don't see how that makes any sense. I don't think he needs that. Now you may say, oh, well, Gran has a 2M that's plus. Yeah, but it's not a low, so at least during that pressure you can walk back. Against Belial, you ain't walking back. If you walk back, you're gonna get hit and you're gonna get comboed. And as it is right now, on counter hit, he gets a full FAR 5H follow-up into a full freaking combo. Now that's a little bit too much. Now I don't want to take away combos, so what I would propose instead is just to make it only comboable into itself. So like if you get a counter hit with 2M, you can do 2M into light grab. I think that'll be fine, that's fair, still get a decent combo. Because I do think you should be rewarded for getting a counter hit in this game, just not like a full FAR 5H, especially with this character. His FAR 5H freaking lunges him forward to allow him to get a full combo into full conversion to SSBA, SBA, like come on, that's too much. Now granted, if they were to make the FAR 5H slower like I said, this wouldn't combo in the FAR 5H, it would combo in the close 5H though, which that I'm not too against, because for that case you have to be really close with the 2M and not be like full screen and still get a full conversion like that. So maybe that would be fine. Maybe they don't have to reduce the hit advantage of the counter hit. Just make it so the FAR 5H is too slow for it to combo. But either way, the point is, this should not combo with the FAR 5H. That's too rewarding. And also, I would say to make the 2M -1, because this being +1, he doesn't need that to be plus. There's no reason. He has his 2L and 5L. That's already plus. He's got his plus frames just like anyone else. You don't need extra plus frames with all the stuff that he has, because he can already do 2M in the EX Fireball, he can do 2M into command grab, he can do 2M into, this nonsense. Like, that's too much. Because he's plus, he's able to do all those things. This will just make it so he's more fair. Now he can still do that, but it'll be more of a mind game. Since he's minus, he can do this, and that will still lead to a frame trap to make the opponent scared to push buttons. So if they're scared to push buttons, he's still able to do like a throw bait or go for a throw afterwards. But now he's more minus. It's not completely guaranteed that it's his turn, so it's less stupid. He creates a mind game, which would be great, which would make this character so much fun to actually have mind games instead of having a bunch of guaranteed nonsense. Which that's what he is right now. He has a bunch of guaranteed nonsense, and we don't need that. But anyway, point is, make this -1 and make it so on counter hit, it combos to itself, so at least you get something. I think that'll be good for the 2M. Now for his 2L. His 2L starts up at 5 frames. Any other character's 2L, to my knowledge, starts up at 6 frames. Why is his in 5 frames? I guess their logic was it's not a low, but he has a 2M that's a low, that's plus right now. So I would make it 6 frames, but to keep it 5, not a big deal, but make it 6 in my opinion, just to normalize him with the rest of the cast. Now let's talk about his 5U. There's nothing wrong with his 5U for the most part. The speed that it comes out is fine. It's not an immediate reversal. It's a 4 frame startup, so if you do a proper frame trap, you're just gonna hit Belial. He's not gonna do any kind of parry. It's hella punishable. You can literally just let him walk at you and just get a full combo punish while you're running him to the corner. So it's a big risk for Belial to just randomly throw it out. My only issue with it is the whole hitbox, hurtbox thing as he is coming on top of you. Because for certain characters like Cagliostro and Lance, they have moves that are really slow or that can be easily parried. Like for example, Lance has a slow fireball that by the time it reaches Belial, for example, Lance will be fully recovered, so he can do whatever move he wants. And if Belial tries to parry it, then Lance has all the time in the world to anti-air Belial. The only issue is he pretty much can't. Because of how Lance's 2H is very inconsistent at hitting Belial when Belial's coming down at him after the parry. And that's the only thing I would change. Now that's more of an issue with certain 2Hs. The same thing happens with Cag, like if Belial tries to parry one of her traps when she's not doing anything else and she has all the time in the world of 2H. She has to time it perfectly to get an anti-air. A little bit too early, a little bit too late, and she gets hit. Now that could be an issue with just those 2Hs in general, just not being designed correctly. But the easy fix to do is for Belial just to change the hurtbox and hitbox. Just make his hitbox a little bit higher, so the part that hits you is a little bit higher up, and then his hurt block should be a little bit lower, so it's a little bit easier to hit Belial, just to make it so your 2H is more consistent. But that's about it. Besides that, the parry is fine. It's -4 on block. It shouldn't really be punishable, so I think it's fine. Now, to be fair, those characters like Lance and Cag, they have other ways they can punish the parry. They don't have the 2H. They can air grab. They can do an air normal. They can still do SBA, yes, SBA if they have it. But I think they deserve a 2H punish, because that would be the most optimal punish if they're actually able to land it consistently. Now, next thing I want to talk about is fireballs. Now, I want to say, like, let him keep his good fireball game. His fireballs are very unique, so let him keep that. Don't completely destroy that, because that's a pretty cool aspect of the characters. He can do, like, so many of these other weird fireball motions, come back, forward, bait jumps, and whatnot. Now, I think that's really cool. The only thing that's kind of annoying is he can do this, like, into fake plus frames. Now, granted, you can completely blow them up if you're mashing or just press buttons at the right time, and you can blow up Belial for doing that. My only thing is, like, this is a little bit too fast. I would make this maybe a couple frames slower before it hits you, because it does put you +2, and you can literally frame trap you with 5M, and that's really strong. I would make it a couple frames slower. It would be better for online and better for offline too, because I think it's a little bit too fast as is right now. Anyways, kind of hard to react to, because you have so many things to worry about. Because you're worried about EX fireball, this fireball, you're worried about this DP, you're worried about command grab. So since you have so many things to try to react to, I would make it just a couple frames slower, so at least it'd be a little bit easier to see this one coming, but still get rewarded for it, because you could still surprise the opponent with it. And this one, I'll keep this version of it the same speed, because that one is slower than this one by a lot. So if you get hit by this, Belial deserves the plus frames. And last thing, I'll just make his medium grab punishable, because right now the light one is -6, which is unsafe. But he can space it correctly, like spacing it like that, he's pretty much safe. But the medium one, that's -4. Like, why? It's literally a mix-up. If he does this on your face, it's either gonna be he's gonna DP or block, and you still have to guess on the defending side when he did a freaking special move that leaves him right next to you. I think that should be -6, so you can get at least a light punish on him. And honestly, that's pretty much it for Belial. We dissected his far 5H, we took away so many things from it. We made it slower, made it have more recovery on whiff, more recovery on block, make it always have a gap if you try to do some kind of special move, so you don't get free plus frames. Reduce the absurd combo you would get off the counter hit of the second part hitting. So I think the far 5H is much better now. The 2M is not so crazy. It's not plus. There's no reason for it to be plus. It still gets its combos on counter hit, which is good. We make the 5U a little bit better, more consistent to anti-air, but still function as it was intended, still being pretty good. Fireballs, the plus frame version, this would be a tad slower, a little bit easier to react to. Make the medium version of this move punishable, and I think we're good. With all these changes, I guarantee you, Belial would still be an extremely strong character, definitely in the top 5. He'd be right next to the S tier, no problem. But my goal here is not to make him the worst character in the game. My goal is to normalize him with everyone else, while still keeping what's good about him. He can keep his cool fireballs. He pretty much still has all his swag combos. They're just a little bit less damage, not as optimized, just like slightly lowered. He still gets them, but he doesn't get stuff he doesn't deserve, because he doesn't deserve a far 5H second part counter hit, because it has so few recovery frames. You're trying to preemptively punish it the moment you start the startup of it. Get hit by the second part, he gets a heavy confirm off the counter hit into EX fireball, into another heavy, into no, you don't need all that. That's too much. Let him get his little far 5L punish off a counter hit far 5H. That's fine. He gets his little far 5L punish in the light hand. He gets a knockdown, he gets his pressure, gets his turn, gets his meaties. I think that's fine, but not a ridiculous combo for no reason. Same thing with his 2M. He gets a counter with 2M. He won't be able to combo to a far 5H, which brings him really close to where he can go to EX Fireball, which will be close enough for full animation supers. Nah, he don't need that. And notice, I didn't touch this move at all. He can keep this. This is fine, because on whiff, this has a lot of recovery. So that means if you do like certain spot dodge OSs, like I covered in my video on how to do Belial, you can just blow up that move. So that's not so bad. That's a throwback. That's basically the same as you running up and doing an overhead. So that's fine. So the chances of Arc System actually doing what I'm saying here, probably like a 1% chance, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna do some of the things I mentioned. They're gonna have to tone down this character. I just hope they don't go overboard. I still want him playable. I don't want him abandoned. I don't want him to do what they did to Jita. I mean, Jita's still usable, but like, Jita. If they just didn't nerf for 2M the way they did, I'd probably still be a Jita main. The Jita Nation would probably still be intact, but as it is right now, it's just a Jita Shack. And I don't want the Belial Nation to become the Belial Shack, you know what I mean? Right now, Belial is not a simple nation. Belial is literally the conqueror of the entire world right now. I want to nerf him down to just a regular old nation. Let him be a nation, don't let him be a world conqueror that he is right now. Let's nerf him down to nation status, but don't nerf him down to Shack status, you know what I'm saying? So anyway guys, that's about it for the video today. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on my Twitter and my Twitch, and I'll see you guys next time.